Well, the clock says 6:32, so let's open the July 11th, 2023 meeting of the Town of Rutland Planning Board. First order of business, minutes from July
June 27th.
27th.
Make a motion to accept.
Only thing I wanted to make sure of was,
I'm just a little bit,
this is May, sorry, wrong one. I only got May 23rd. Oh, it's too light, that's the reason why.
yeah, I know. That Hilltop Estates,
We're still working on the last,
yeah, I know. That roadway is proposed to be 1,000 feet long?
I think so. We would have not gone over it.
Anyway. Okay. Anybody? Any questions?
Norm, did you have to fill anything out with Anita, cause you're in on this, even though you're in a butter? Or is that, I wasn't sure and I forgot to call her and ask her. I just didn't want anybody to say anything. Cause the applicant gave the okay, and that's, as far as I was concerned, was enough for me. Okay,
I included Clee's email in the file and also made sure to document it in the minutes.
okay, thanks, Tamika, I just don't want this to come up down the road, that we, did something incorrect. And then they try to shut down, if we approve it or whatever we do, shut it down because of an incorrect procedure. Okay, good enough, thanks. That was all I had. Yeah, this is a mess. That notice to intent to sell chapter land.
Yeah, they're gonna redo it.
They're gonna go back? Okay, good. I was hoping, that's what I mentioned to Amy when I called her. I said, I think it's a good idea, we get a new P and S with just the 16 acres and exclude the 53 and then put that through again. But I'm thinking,
Now.
I've walked it, I think we should buy it.
Don't get me started.
Okay,
Do you remember when it came, the first batch of houses on that property came through? About 61 and all that jazz, and I asked, where is it on a map?
oh, it
There
isn't.
is not any drawings on a map
It's only on
where
a deed.
it's, where it sits out. And I think from now on, if there's any more property in Rutland like
should have
that,
that
which there
delineated.
is, it
Oh, yeah.
better be delineated.
Yep, I agree, Dick.
Okay.
All right, so they're redoing, thanks, Norm, I'd mentioned, but I hadn't heard a word if it was being redone or not. So that'll be less than 600,000, so we could actually
No.
afford that. Oh, don't play, if somebody plays that game, I will.
Well, it's gonna be nice land now, instead of all the other swamp stuff, so.
600,000 divided by 60. Should be like $120,000. It's more than that then, anyhow. All right, that's it for me.
Any further discussion on the minutes?
I still need a second.
Second?
No discussion, all in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so much for the minutes. I think we're at least halfway through our agenda.
God, I looked at tonight, and was like, oh.
Yeah. Okay, no A and Rs, which brings us, whoops, to we have 8 minutes until 6:45.
What's the administrative change? Cause for that special permit, I don't remember.
Mhm.
The administrative change.
Oh, you mean for the last meeting?
Yeah, with the one and two car lots?
Yeah. It was just the changing the name of the dealer.
Oh, for the one permit that we gave,
Yeah.
but we didn't authorize them to divide it into two.
Correct.
Okay, good. That's what I wasn't remembering that, cause I wanted to make sure we weren't gonna break that up into two lots. Okay.
Well,
If they could reapply, we can look at it, but
like I say, it was just a name change.
okay, I'm good with that. Do we need to vote on that, or is that just,
Yeah. it's
Okay.
done.
sorry, brain death?
I think you're on the wrong agenda, Tim.
Yeah,
Why, this is the, oh, what's that doing?
You had two sets of things over at the
yeah, that's.
fire
that's
station and police
But
station.
I had last ones, I got it in the car from last meeting, so. Maybe I picked up Kevin's,
Put that in.
maybe I picked up Kevin's. Oops. Sorry,
What
guys.
does the tick say on
It both says Tim N. So I might have picked up Kevin's by accident last time, I apologize.
it? Well, since we got 7 minutes to go, why don't we skip down to number 4? No real estate discussion of zone A under DCR jurisdiction. So,
Because it's in the Ware River watershed, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, and how they're trying to push more water and all that, and I feel that this is something that I did not know about. I sent an email over to Alan, ECR, about it, if he could track it out for us, to show us what it is, so it's in 3 spots.
Is that the green stuff,
The
Dick?
green stuff, yeah.
Damn, that's 15 lots.
So,
The thing is-
to me.
And a road.
Yeah, well, that's just it,
The road and the lots are in that
yeah.
A. Oh, boy, and that's part of the entrance in, cause it loops.
To me, you know, because there has been enough things, have we changed a few things that should apply to this? Yes, we have. Bounds,
This is my, Norm, through you,
And-
this is my point about, it's been on the book since 2008. You know, and I know there was, Deval Patrick had some time frame to put out, but, no. And I know I've been told that if we do a rescission, it's gonna be a court battle, blah, blah, blah. But, and again, this is an attorney's opinion, it's gonna not be mine, but my reading of Mass General Law is that even if these are all mortgaged out, if they're under one person's mortgage and not individuals, that does not qualify it to not be rescinded. So, again, that's gonna be KP Law's call, not mine, but that's my interpretation. So, I personally would say, again, this is my opinion, start over.
we can apply.
I'm not gonna even comment on that one. I'm just gonna comment on a little bit on the Zone A part. I've been dealing with Zone A in great detail in the last couple months. And I still haven't gotten a straight answer on where their jurisdiction ends as opposed to the wetlands. And I'm working on it, so I don't 100% put all my men in line that say that those lots are gone. There's a lot of criteria that,
But I didn't say we're going to it, I just said they're in the zone.
right.
That's it, that's all I can say, is they're in the
You
zone.
guys hear that, but when I'm dealing with other agencies, they're like, oh, it's in the zone, they're gone.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
no, no. So, and it's a surface water zone, not a DCR watershed zone. There's 2 different Zone As. There's the 200-foot watershed that nothing can be done, which this project was designed around, just completely around staying out of their 200 foot. And then I think it was around 2010, Zone A, surface water under DEP, came up with some regulations, which are now surfacing in different interpretations. And I've been dealing with it since 2010, and this last 6 months is like, what law changed? Oh, that's the way we look at it. And I'm like, I don't know, because I know a lot of projects that I've been involved with and are ongoing and have been signed, sealed, and delivered that had that denotation, and that's not the way it was handled at the time. So, but
I don't know anything about it other than, at least I believe I remember hearing that if you do buy or build a house and it is in the zone A, you're required to buy flood insurance.
no, that's a different zone A. That's the FEMA zone A, 100-year flood. This is a total different zone A.
Is zone
This
A,
is nothing to do with flooding. This is to do with
Strictly
water shed, surface water protection of the tributary that's somewhere in on the property. The zone A you're thinking about is completely different.
Okay?
but when, and
Oh, yeah, I
again,
didn't know anything about it.
I don't know enough either, but doesn't zone A, does the jurisdiction of wells and septic systems fall under that zone A?
That's a different zone A.
Jesus Christ.
We have zone A, 10 different places.
Okay, I won't ask.
And this is a GIS map of zone A for surface water protection of tributaries that go to the reservoir.
Okay.
But their jurisdiction lies under the DEP, Wetland Protection Act, under the subsection of stormwater management. And that's what I'm trying to put all the pieces together to figure out what, who, where, why. And I keep getting road stops.
Do you remember the conditions that you,
Yeah, this one actually has section,
Yeah.
of builds.
Yep.
Phases.
Phases, yeah, thanks, phases.
something like, I think 3 houses and that's it, you know?
It was so many feet and then,
150 feet, I think it was, something like that.
and it had to be approved by us to go to the next phase.
Right.
I remember that being
So
in
much
there.
finished.
Yes. Well, I guess I'm gonna ask the simplistic question. And before Dave left, he was looking into it and then he left. Has the special permit formally elapsed on this? That's what I need to know. And I don't know where to go look for that.
Special permits run with the land.
Nope, they're good for 2 years. They're good for 2 years by state law. Oh, I'm positive of it. I'm positive
Oh,
of
yes,
it.
I'm not gonna say no more.
Okay, I'm,
In general, yeah, 2, no, actually, excuse me, 3 years now.
but when these were given, they were 2 years, and then they could be renewed. They could be renewed infinitesimal amount of times.
Okay.
But 2 years was granted, and then it's up to the board to renew that. And again, you're right, Norm, I think they moved it to 3, but this is, I don't know if it's grandfathered. Again, that's somebody at KP's gonna tell me that, I'm not an attorney. But if it's expired, then the special permit's expired, and then basically, the question is, has the subdivision with no special permit, can it be built?
No,
Then do we need to go through a formal rescission, or is it rescinded because you can't build it because there's no special permit? That's a question I don't know. Again, these are legal questions. I can't answer these. I'm just curious.
if the special permit is particularly expired, the thing is, just for the lot size, it can't be built this way. Because the special permit is what allows the smaller lot.
Oh, then it's yeah. I still want KP to tell me that, but it's
But, it's still a subdivision plan, it's still an approved subdivision plan, it's just that it can't be built.
okay.
So de facto, so to speak, it's,
But if you went, again, if somebody of Clee or whoever was the owner of this, and that's why I don't wanna use Clee, but if somebody, they would have to apply for a new special permit and go through the whole process all over again, correct?
I would think so, it's a different owner.
Or even if it was, let's just say it was, Blair Industries and that it had expired, wouldn't you have to go back through the process of have a hearing, blah, blah, for a
Yeah.
special permit.
Well, for the special permit, but not for the subdivision plan.
And see, I'd have trouble signing a special permit on a subdivision plan that's 15 years old. That's me. So anyhow, the big thing, I guess the answer needs to be found out, and I don't know where we go looking. Cause at one time Dave was putting together, and maybe Tamika, I don't know if you'd work with Dave. Is there a list someplace that's got all the special permits in them, do you know of?
I know that the list.
I'm not putting you on the
didn't-
spot if you don't.
No, I know that the list previously didn't exist, and I
Okay.
don't know if Dave made any progress on that. I can check, I can definitely check to see if there's anything in the files.
Did you get his emails when he left? Did you get permission to have all of his email?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have
You do
access to
too?
that.
I can do that,
I think we need to go through those and find out, because
yeah. And
his records were pretty much immaculate.
we still have the folder and the file and the folder.
Then we need to probably pull that and just look. Cause I really wanna know, cause we've been, this is my opinion, a little lackadaisical about especially these older subdivisions. And nothing against it, Brintnal Estates has gone well, it's, what, 76?
Mhm.
That was a little bit, yeah, that was a little bit of a stretch for me.
Yeah, especially when the old man signed it for crying out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah. So, it's not that I'm opposed to, building this subdivision, cause I think we were really good about putting the phasing in and make sure that it was gonna be put
Even
together.
What you were saying, Brintnal Estates is not what was approved in 1978.
That's what they started out with, you had to go back and modify it, yeah.
Completely modified, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything that matches other than where the two entrances were, that's about
Yeah.
it. So,
But it didn't have to go back through the whole procedure of starting over from a subdivision, it was modified.
right.
That was the only difference that I saw, you're right, Julian,
Right.
it was modified, but,
The plans, the lots, everything is
Yeah.
different.
but you guys work with the board to modify it.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with that, anyhow, that's only my only request for Noble.
I agree.
My question is, regarding the zone A thing, what's our part in it? I don't think there is. It's DEP.
Well,
And if you find out who's in charge in the minutes, I'm asking, because I still haven't found out.
since we have the
rest.
Concon chairman in the other room, could we just get some input from him? Cause I think I'd heard this conversation earlier about, it's sort of a gray area, and I wanna make sure I was right in what I was hearing. Peter, are you here?
No. I just heard a door close.
Yeah, who's that guy running out to the car?
There we go.
Puff of greasy black smoke.
Okay, Harry Potter.
Oh, this is much older than that.
Bewitched, you could be, anyhow, I'll be quiet. So my curiosity is, I thought we talked about this earlier, sort of in a vague, that between this zone A, between you guys and Concom and DEP, there's this gray area called zone A.
Well, it's worse than that.
Thanks, I just needed that.
Glad to help. So. Concom is wetlands protection only. We are not responsible for drinking water supply, we're not responsible for a lot of different things. There's the Watershed Act, and there's the Clean Waters Act. And all of this gets complicated with exactly who has jurisdiction over what. So there is Zone A, and then there's the primary protection zone, which are frequently related geographically, but not identical. One has to do with surface water supply, and one has to do with, as I recall anyway, subsurface water supply.
No, watershed.
Just oh, you're right, it's watershed, it's not.
Watershed is DCR,
Right.
surface water is DEP.
Right.
What the difference, I'm still not
There is a
getting an answer.
weirdo difference, so as far as DEP is concerned, anything that feeds into a drinking water supply, and sometimes indirectly and circuitously, that's drinking water, which is primary protection, which is DEP. But watershed protection, which, as I said, overlaps geographically frequently, that's DCR, which is of course a division of DEP, but,
But chronologically,
Yeah.
DCR came first.
right.
And they had a map that we used to have on all the walls in every town hall that says 200-foot orange, 400-foot yellow, 200-foot, don't even think about breathing in that if you're developing land. And we've learned that in 25 years. I think it was 2010, surface water zone A appeared in fine print in this rule somewhere over here. And the Concom is now the enforcing agent, maybe or maybe not.
Not for, nope.
So,
Concom does
well, I'm
not
being
enforce
told that
either of those.
so why I'm bringing that up.
Well, again, more places it gets confusing. If there's groundwater, it's probably a stream or a river. And that has wetlands jurisdiction that Concom has jurisdiction over as well.
Oh, Jesus
Of
Christ.
100 feet from the resource area.
Who's on first?
No, if it's a river,
And see, my problem
it's
is,
200 feet.
is
But it's a river's
DCR
map.
DEP or
Has its own rules.
Yes.
here, subdivision, then Concon is, so who's DCR the master or is it
No.
DEP?
DEP.
You
DEP.
are the master.
No, not,
Concom is the masters.
State
You're
has-
ruling
we
authority.
each have our own, in some cases,
don't let them take it from you.
overlapping authorities in
Okay.
terms of a particular piece of land or a particular spot on the land.
But it's still
The-
home rule.
I get that, but the only reason I say that is what happened at RDIC with, yes, we would like to sell land, but the DCR is overruling us, or the DEP, one of the
You
two.
got a zone on there that they
Yes.
have the 200 and 400, and there's certain
Yeah.
things you can do in the 2 to 4, and nothing you can do in the 200,
Okay,
other than look at it.
all right. I just was trying to get a
That's the zone.
picture. So in Massachusetts, if,
There isn't a single master.
oh, God.
This is why. There is no supremacy. Because when Concom enforces the Wetlands Protection Act, there may be concurrent jurisdiction with DCR for the watershed and with DEP for primary, for water, clean
Zoning.
water, primary protection.
Primary protection.
Okay.
So
Feel
there
confused,
is,
Dick?
What's the old saying? We're herding cats.
right, so,
Yeah.
so
To get
we
one
can't,
house lot.
we can't tell DEP how they enforce primary protection. We can't tell DCR how they manage watersheds. Neither of them can tell us how we manage wetlands.
But.
This is why it's concurrent jurisdiction with sometimes conflicting rules.
Oh, this is
Well, let
just,
me put a but with the zone A. DCR has a set of rules this thick on what you can and cannot do and the procedure and how to and not to and what.
in Zone A, right, Julian?
In the primary
Primary.
Watershed Protection Act area. And they also have a set of rules this thick from the 200 to the 400 and a whole process to go through, not in the town level, but at the state level.
Okay.
The Zone A, I've been chasing it for a month now and I haven't got any
But
closer.
from a town perspective, like
So,
Peter or us, we would just be enforcing our local rules.
exactly.
And if a developer like yourself or Clee or,
And
they would have to deal with the
they gotta
state.
deal with it.
Okay.
But they want you guys to do their dirty work,
Sometimes
that
they
they don't
just
even know what the dirty work is.
Okay.
And that's
now-
what I'm finding out
Now
with the
I'm
Zone A
getting
right
really,
Oh, yeah.
And I had a,
this is convoluted
as you know,
beyond
I had a
belief.
meeting last Thursday and that was like,
Oh, I didn't know.
So
Thursday.
my
Yeah.
advice to our board is, let's just stay out of this.
nothing was resolved, zero.
Other than,
I'm shocked
than
by
referring it when it comes up to,
I want a
didn't go
better
backwards, but-
idea of
That's why I'm.
what's going
doing my
on.
due diligence.
I agree.
Because there are other
can
things
ask
in this
questions.
town
Who,
that fall into
Who
this
is in charge for
jurisdiction
you?
and maybe even, a lot heavier, you might say.
if I didn't.
I don't have a problem knowing the information, it's just acting on it. Think we should keep our nose out and just press it to whoever needs to get the information, be it Peter, be it the state. We can give that to them, but I don't think we should be making any decisions on
I'd like
that.
to know where we're at on this thing here.
Well, I think the first step is a special permit. If that's expired, to me, it's a moot point, it's done.
Sure.
Okay.
And then I would like to know, do we need to, and this is again to KP, do we need to go through a rescission process? Even though, to your point, Norm, the special permit can't be built.
Presentation.
But do we need to go through an
Not with
official
opinion,
rescission process to
but with
blank the slate
CMR.
and make somebody start from scratch? And that's what I wanna know. I don't know that.
No, if you wanna investigate this further, feel free. Yeah, let's keep doing it. I don't think we're gonna make a decision. For the zone A thing.
All right, well, Alan wanted to come to the meeting, but he had to go to Phillipston tonight, so.
Okay. This is beyond,
Add some clarity to the whole thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
But they have,
At least
as much
from
as
what-
I
Julian is saying, I'm not sure there is someone who can.
Connect the
I don't know, I'm looking for them, I'll let you know when I find them. DCI,
Let
there's
me know too,
definitely, Alan and Dan Clark are the final say in Rutland on
Right.
DCR issues. No question, I just went through a process with them. They have guidance, they have what they're looking for. You can't ask them for their opinion, you have to just present, no, we don't like it. Present, no, we don't like it. Present, okay, we can live with this. So it's a difficult process, but it is a process. The Zone A has not been a process yet, there's no way to, other than, oh, you're in it, you can't do this.
And this is just a question that may not be is there an application for it or?
No, there isn't.
Okay, that was just curiosity.
Okay, I'm glad,
I'm
keep
an
asking these
engineer.
questions, you're gonna find out
And
my
to me-
frustration.
and that's half the.
Is there someone to mail it to?
We need to have some better clarity.
Yeah,
And somebody to grab a hold of this thing and, you know, take the reins and, hey,
I
lay
knew
it out.
that
I
could
think
be
it's a
the
land
new
taking.
conservation agent.
I thought on a land taking, at least DCR went through the process with legislature and meetings and hearings and, remember all those, but Dick?
Yeah.
There was years.
Oh, yes.
And then they set up regulations, the Watershed
That's
Protection Act, is that thick? And it's right in the environmental rules of Massachusetts.
Okay,
CMR 14.10, I believe.
wow.
And they have their own, if you don't like what they say, they have a process that you can take it to their, I call it kangaroo court. And I've been there a few times in Boston, that you can appeal their decision. But when you appeal it, you walk into a room of DCR, landowner. So you can imagine how that goes, and if it doesn't
Oh,
go
you got a
through there,
chance.
then you have option Superior Court.
Oh, land court or superior court?
Superior Court.
Superior Court.
So, but it is a way that you can go through a process. Zone A doesn't have that. Like Tim said, there's not an application for me to fill out.
I'm an engineer, I need an application, I need a process.
Who do I send it, who do I talk to?
Okay,
You?
don't ask me,
No. You? No.
electrical I can handle. All right, good enough.
Tamika, he's taking over.
I wish, then it would be streamlined and correctly done, and, you know, every dot would be dotted, and every T would be
Checked off.
crossed.
Anyway,
Do you think other towns are dealing with this?
I'm curious how Holden is, that's my
Holden
curiosity.
is, Holden has it, Holden, Hubbardston, Princeton,
Yeah.
little portion of Paxton, tiny piece of Ocam, Sterling.
Yep.
All the way to the West Boylston, and the towns around West Boylston, around the reservoir. And then you go out west to whatever's touching the Quad. If you go to where, we don't care. I did a job, I could see the Windsor Dam entrance. The whole Quabbin Reservoir area, but in Ware on Route 9. This side, no touch. This side, we don't know nothing exists, we don't care.
I don't wanna know.
It's crazy.
okay, just to wrap this up, for KP Law, we wanna send an inquiry,
Yes.
and exactly what are we asking?
But Tim had laid out.
Yeah,
That won't go far.
do we,
My
The
first,
special permit is the biggest thing.
my first thoughts are, because, let's face it, if we decided that we are gonna consider, we're not rescinding the special permit.
Oh, it's,
We're saying it's expired.
yes,
Expired.
When we conclude that, obviously, there's gonna be smoke coming out of, the offices down on Main Street.
That's
that.
that's the marijuana place.
Yeah, right.
Put the
And
town high.
my thoughts are particularly to question KP on what are some possible claims that Mr. Blair could make that says that the permit is still in effect.
what I'd like to give, this is my opinion. I think we should find the last special permit that we approved with the dates, everything on it. Give that to KP, and then Norm, your questions are all valid then. About what, let's just throw a number out there. The last special permit was approved in 2019
You mean for Noble Hill?
for Noble Hill, just for Noble Hill. I don't wanna go anyplace else. Have that special permit with its approval and no extensions from 2019 on, and say, is there been any special legislation? Has there been COVID issues? Anything that would take that 2019 and still make it valid? Or in 2019, on that date, let's say June 1st, 2021, that special permit is null and void on June 2nd.
Well,
That's-
every permit in the state was told for 500,
It was a weird number.
some number of 500 and some odd days because of COVID. So, anything that expired before the start of COVID is gone. Anything that expired during the COVID tolling gets extended to,
500 days from that date or 500 days from the end of COVID? That'd be my next question.
well, it's a little more complicated than that. Basically, the short answer is you just add 500 however many days to the end
Of the expiration.
of the permit.
That's a year and a half, so I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
So, I
But-
mean, that's the process.
I
that
just
the
need
state
a starting
specified.
point, because I don't think Noble Hills come before us for a special permit for at least before COVID.
Way before
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, so I just want that piece, and then I think KP can look at it and say, listen, you know, back before that, it was pushed out from Deval Patrick's 2008, 2009, okay, that pushed it, he gave another 3 years, but it was renewed in 2018, 2019, 2020, whenever, and this date, give me a line in the sand, is when it's either still good or expired. And if it's still good, I'm okay with that, cause then, but if it's expired, I think the party's over. And, my next question, once KP said that, Norm, then I would say, okay, is our next process to keep everything clean, do a rescission process of the subdivision? And then that way, it's a clean slate, that we don't have a subdivision approved without a special permit. That's my suggestion to the board.
Well, that's good. What does our new town planner say?
He's on vacation.
I'm not asking any because I apologize to Austin. Sorry, Norm, I didn't have time to talk to you. I shouldn't have pressed as hard last time. That was inconsiderate. So I apologize on TV that I pressed so hard and got so much information, because
But
Just-
wasn't the second interview supposed to have gone by now, or a couple of weeks ago?
I have not talked with Austin. I don't know, Tamika, I don't know if you can fill in anything more.
I guess the more important question is, do we have a town planner?
I would say at this point, no.
Okay.
It was not announced last night at the
No.
select board meeting, so I would suggest that there is no planner.
Is Austin still out there?
He's not sitting here now.
Okay. Damn. I don't wanna know names.
Applying for it?
I don't wanna know ranks and serial numbers, I just wanna know status. That's all I care about now. Status.
In the building?
He
He's
was
at
a little while ago.
He's at the library board of trustees meeting.
Oh.
That started at 7.
We can always, we gotta get through.
This one.
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to pass along your message to
This
him
is an easy
tomorrow,
one.
though, if you'd like.
Hmm.
I'd be happy to pass along your inquiry to him tomorrow.
Yes,
I'm fine with
please.
that, yeah, I'm just.
We
wanna
need
know
something
status.
sooner than later. Cause there are too many things, you know, that.
I might as well bring up, I had a conversation with him, so while we're on this guy, it seems from discussions with Austin that we are a little bit low in our salaries with getting a good planner. And I was gonna bring before the board, I said this depending on how his negotiation was, cause I said, I don't wanna know anything about this, but if the max that was advertised isn't enough to get a good planner, I said, I'll bring before the board, do we throw, I'm not saying 40,000, but do we throw a couple grand into the pot just to sweeten it so we can get a planner? And then we'll deal with the budget issues next year by increasing the salary of the planner? I just think we need somebody, and I'm willing to roll the dice right now and get somebody in here.
There again,
There's somebody out
if things are starting to slack off a little bit, you know, are we gonna be able to get an income coming in to support that?
Got $2 million.
No, $2 million, that's gone, forget that.
Just being a smart aleck.
Okay.
But I said, I can't make that decision, that's a board decision, but I'd bring it before the board to see if we wanna throw some, I mean, he has other tools to negotiate with, he's got vacation time, he's got other things like that he can negotiate with, but sometimes it comes down to money. So it's just,
Well-
I wanted to bring it before the board and see what their thought process is, cause we do have a kitty,
Yes, we do, and I like to pat the cat once in a while.
I know, and I don't want the cat to get thin, so,
Yes.
but I thought if, you know,
Have to be limited.
What is the number that is out there for a planner to?
Tamika, is it 92 or something like that, or 89 or something?
85, I think.
85.
85.
Oh,
That's $42.50 an hour.
I think it was 85
And,
and we
and you're having a hard
budgeted
time
82.
finding, just, like I said when we first started, this is what's going on.
Yeah, but-
So the town planning gonna pay him to sit there going,
Well, no, because part of it,
Enough work to do.
yeah, and part of his job is economic development too, so he's gotta deal with,
well, that's an easy one, you guys don't let nothing happen.
sorry, Senator,
That's an easy one.
I cannot comment on that or will not.
We'd like to, no, okay.
So that's the only thing I'm gonna throw out to the board. I'm not asking for an answer, I just wanna throw it out there that if and can help Austin get us a good planner, just wanna know if the board's amicable to it, and that's all I wanted to throw out.
Like I say, it would have to be limited.
Yeah, Norm, I was thinking 1 year, and that's
Well,
it.
no, the thing is, that's not gonna work.
You know, someone's gonna,
'Cause we can't count on the budget being any better for next year. So, you know, if we're gonna say commit $2,000, we figure, okay, we're gonna commit $2,000 for 10 years.
I don't, me personally, I don't see it that way with what's going on in salaries in this town, but that's my opinion again.
Be aware that we might.
Yes, you were correct, you are correct.
Well, if they're town planners that are coming to seek this job, they're not negotiating very well. And you want
Julia,
them-
trust
and
me,
you
I know
want them to be
that.
town planners? Keep thinking about that part.
No, I do, when somebody doesn't negotiate and takes a job,
We don't know anything yet.
yeah, that's why we need no status.
We need,
But I just don't wanna lose a good planner because it comes down to cash. That's, I mean, anyhow.
Back to.
and you can keep it open, talks open.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete.
Back to number 3, Forest Hill Drive extension. Continuation of public hearing.
And Tamika, thanks for the email from about Seth, that was huge.
Here are, I wasn't sure how many I was supposed to bring, it's 3 complete sets.
5 would have been better.
You want 5? I can get more.
Kidding, I'm
I can get more. I started with 3.
I just want one.
These are everything that we talked about with Kevin. Actually, they were done probably the next day. And the big things that came up, well, the big thing was that one structure being concrete.
And there was a page missing too.
There was a page missing. Pages are missing.
Has Kevin seen this new
Yes, he
set?
has.
Okay.
This is the culvert precast concrete,
Yep,
that was a big item. And this page that shows the actual lots.
yep. And Seth had come back and or Tamika sent out, he was actually happy with this,
Yeah.
so,
We'd like to kind of understand.
yep.
Yeah, that's, and this is the actual, this plan, if we go to the next week, I feel we've come to the point where everything's been, Kevin, all his points have been
That's the only-
done.
Okay.
And here's the copies of what we talked about. And this plan, this is the Mylar of the subdivision itself. This is the one you guys signed.
Yeah.
This, if it gets approved, gets signed, and this goes to the town clerk for 20 days. It doesn't get approved here and wait 20 days and then go to the town clerk, because then it's 40 days. So just a procedural. So I'm hoping that we're at that point of, we've done.
Do we have a letter back from Kevin?
I
I
don't know.
looked this over and everything's good, that's what I've gotta have.
I'm hoping that if he did, he got his phone. Those are the only two items that we had, and we,
But as I recall, and it may be documented in the minutes, that at the last meeting, the only thing that Kevin felt was outstanding was just changing that structure
Yeah,
on the
that's
plan.
Good, I can look at this, there's a reason I have this.
that was it. And he wanted a copy of the plan, and he has one electronically, and I have one going hard copy, and you got 3. So, that was
Julian,
his,
can you send me the electronic one too, and I'll add it to the file?
yes, I will.
Okay, thank you.
We'll do that tomorrow. That's what my understanding was at the last meeting.
Cause I recall the board
Okay,
said
but
that they
we
were
need an
ready to
HOA.
approve,
that
but they
done
wanted
yet?
to do that.
What's that?
We need HOA, is that done?
HOA, that's,
For one lot.
No, it's for
no, so there's
for maintenance of
one,
detention ponds.
One lot, the detention bond is on one lot.
only on one lot. No one else has.
Nobody else
anything.
owns it.
So is
So that
that gonna
was-
be on their deed, or is that gonna be part of?
It's gonna be on their deed here as the way it's right now.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do for that? I mean, is
Nothing,
that,
because it's on that person's lot,
Yeah.
and he has a pond on it, so that's why we did it the way we did.
are they responsible? But that's the original house, right? Or
It's
is
the original
that,
house,
what's, I can't see, what's
a
the?
shed. There's a
Oh, shed,
there.
okay.
So there really is not an HOA on this one.
So it could be just in the deed alone,
Yeah.
period.
I really don't want somebody in here complaining that they
Because
bought
in
a
the
piece
deed,
of
they have nothing to
property.
complain about. Absolutely nothing. And right now, Andy
Actually,
owns this, so if he sells it, it's gonna be in the deed. That's all there is to it.
and there's access from the road to that property
right
right there? Okay, that's almost,
Yep.
so if Rutland ever has to get in there,
They
like,
can get into it.
that's,
That's it.
I guess I'll
And we
look to the
did,
board for this
I'm
one,
glad you
right?
noticed that, we did make sure we put it on one lot only and not across a whole bank of them,
Yeah.
cause that just gets it.
Single lot, one owner.
But this is subdivision, right?
Yeah.
So do we have,
I don't,
didn't we have something, I don't have a damn rules, that's one thing I forgot.
I just don't see how you can make the owner of this lot be responsible.
Oh, I don't disagree, Norm. I just wanna make sure that our subdivision regs, we're not doing anything for
Nope, this is,
HOAs that we shouldn't.
We should be eliminating them.
You don't, except for a certain one that we're working on soon. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's, I just, again, I'm being precautious after what happened at Brice Lemon of, quote, people not, again, I'm not putting any blame on anybody, just not knowing what they were getting into. So I just don't want somebody coming to the board and saying, hey, you guys approved this on my piece of property that I just bought, why didn't I know about this?
it's in your deed.
Julian, I'm not gonna disagree with you, I'm really not.
And that's all you need, that's the whole discussion. This is your deed. We didn't make you buy this house. You got it.
And again, not knowing enough about deeds, would it be in there saying that they're responsible for maintenance and what else did Kevin say? Maintenance And any repairs
Well,
to the
we
detention
can, you
pond?
can make that, what we could do, to satisfy you. I'm hoping as condition of approval that he shows you the deed of this lot. That puts that language in it.
I'm excellent with that, that'd be
So
perfect.
that, and I'll tell Andy and we'll have that written up immediately, but it
Okay.
doesn't hold it up another 2 weeks and another month and then.
Well,
for
we've gotta
something-
do the conditions and sign that
Right,
whole,
but the 20-day, I guess that would start, the appeal would start.
we've gotta sign everything before the appeal starts,
Yeah, I
correct?
guess that's true.
Yeah,
I know you
so,
did mention that, it's a difficult thing, but at least if you close the hearing and approve it,
what's the board think? I'm okay with it.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, but my question to the board is, without the gentleman that sat in that thing, who's writing up the,
Well,
do we?
here she
Oh,
is.
no, I'm not putting that burden on her, there is no way in hell that's happening.
But I know it'll be
Well,
done
that's why we
correctly.
have Austin for crying, you know, he's taking the place of our town planner.
Attention was
at least Tamika is gonna help on this. The thing is, we have
Do we have Kevin do it?
on file the decision, notice of decision on Maple Hill,
Right, and it's very similar.
okay, that Dave wrote.
Yeah,
So it's pretty much gonna be a cut and paste.
I'm fine
We
with
just
that.
take that, and Tamika is willing to look it up, and
Yeah, I'm happy to help.
I'll take a look at it,
Yeah.
obviously. And
Yep, I don't mind helping.
so, it's not gonna be a big deal.
Okay, just,
We're not gonna do it this week, but.
okay,
No, that's fine.
all right, yeah, I'm good, okay. And Julian, I think it's a great plan, don't get me wrong, I just wanna dot the i's and cross the
I
t's.
fully understand and I agree with you. We've gone this far, but
What's the big worry again? Cause I know we brought it up last week. It's that if it breaks down or something and it's essentially the neighborhood's water
Yeah.
into one person's yard or something.
Based on what I'm hearing now, if anything happened to the detention pond and it bled out into any of the other ones, it's that owner with the deed's responsibility to fix it.
yep.
The insurance, if it
Nope.
wrecks someone's house or some, I don't know.
That's all land
It's all
court.
downhill
Yeah.
from there anyways, it's
Yeah,
not going
it's
towards
civil
anybody
court, it
else's.
wouldn't be, it wouldn't come back to the town, Keith, it wouldn't be a town.
Yeah, or like, just the owners got a bunch of problems essentially, if.
That's why, anyone,
To Norm's
buy a piece
point,
of land with an easement, be aware.
I can't justify having 3 or 4 other homeowners responsible for somebody's property that they can't get access to. That's the part I can't, when you got an open space and you got it all over and basically nobody owns it, then I can see the HOA. But this is on somebody's property and I would wanna say, hey, Mr.
I'm
Smith,
upset.
go over and clean that detention pond, it's not your property, cause, no, I wouldn't take it as well as somebody coming on my property without my permission.
Yeah, okay.
This
So-
one, just not to make it less than what it is, it's catching 2 catch basins with a very small amount of roadway. And it's because of stormwater, it's a pretty
Yeah, it's built for.
It's a pretty good sized basin that, I've got some on Arlene Drive that are 10 times that and I haven't seen the water in them yet. And-
Kevin was happy with it, and that's,
Right.
Julian, that's why I'm good. I'm good, Kevin's signed off on it, so, do we want a motion to close the hearing?
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious about the appeal period. That appeal period should start from our vote, right?
From your vote.
Okay,
You can close the hearing, no more information, and then you guys work out your vote, and then whenever it happens, it happens.
I wouldn't wanna vote until we've got the, I don't know what to say.
Conditions or something.
Conditions of.
Yeah, cause I wanna look those over before I vote to make sure,
Actually, well, if I may, like, if I think about it in terms of the ZBA or say like an order of conditions, the appeal period doesn't start until I clock the decision in with the town clerk, like for
Right.
the zoning board of appeals, which that is, so they vote at their meeting, I write the decision, they sign it, they do electronic signatures, I clock it in with the town clerk, and then the appeal
then I'm
period
good with that,
starts from
because
that date.
we could approve this tonight, but until the decision is written up.
And the 20
And
days doesn't start till it goes to the town clerk. What I've had happen, unfortunately, is we think that's going that way and you guys didn't sign the plan until the 20 days or 30 days went by, and it's like, we approved that, yeah, but the plan didn't get signed, so we need 20 days from minimum of 20 days. So if this doesn't go to the next step until the decision, the conditions of approval, that's totally fine.
Cause if the board approves it tonight, that would precipitate the writing of the decision. Norm and I can work on that over the next 2 weeks, bring it to the July 25th meeting for signatures, and then that following. July
That starts the
can
clock
it
There you
as
go.
soon as,
Let's
I'm
do
good
that.
with that, I'm good with that. I just wanna look before the
Just,
decision.
the hearing gets
filed.
closed, and I know that my part has been done, and it's not like, oh, great, here goes.
I'm okay with that, Norm.
If we approve the plan tonight, do we have to sign it tonight?
No, I wouldn't
Close the
sign it.
hearing tonight, and you make your decision,
No,
Oh.
you'd want to approve it tonight,
prove it tonight.
which would then precipitate the writing of the decision.
There you go.
And then the decision would get signed at the next meeting and clocked in.
Yeah,
There you go.
but then when we approve when the decision is signed by us, we'll sign the decision and the drawings, and that starts the 20-day clock, right?
The 20-day clock starts with the decision. I can't speak to the plan because that's out of my,
But I'd do it at the same time, cause I wanna approve the drawings and the decision at the same time. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I don't know what the rest of the board is, but I don't wanna have one thing done and not the other thing done. I like
Yeah,
it all
that's
at once.
There we go.
Part of this.
Yes.
The decision of the Town of Rutland Planning Board approving this plan was recorded in the office of the Rutland Town Clerk on this date. And no notice of appeal from there received by Rutland Town Clerk during the 20 days following.
So I
So
wanna
as
sign
soon as
it,
you give her this, that date goes here, and then there's 20 days.
and I
So your
want,
date don't matter. It's when you put it together and give it to her, say, yep, we've approved it.
I wanna do everything together, cause that makes me, again, that makes me feel.
That's
warm,
totally
but-
fine. I mean, if you get this in 2 weeks and sign everything that same day and just bring it the next day.
But I have no problem today closing the hearing and voting
Close the
to approve
hearing.
it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm okay with
That way
that.
I'm not gonna come back.
I'm fine with that.
No, I'm fine. Tripping.
okay. Hello,
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
is there any discussion?
Do we ask the internet or anything?
Was there anybody? Leah's here, I'm
Just
sorry.
liaison.
Okay.
So Leah, maybe we should ask if she got any comments before we close it.
Yeah, Leah, any comments? Questions? She said
She
nothing,
said she's good, thanks.
okay. Then, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the Forest Hill Extension subdivision with, future conditions and decision to follow.
Okay.
I don't know if that's worded right, but
I would
Conditions
say-
to be determined.
determine, I'm good
Wait a
with
minute,
that.
listen. What's A, Tamika?
I would probably say motion to approve the Forest Hill Extension subdivision with standard conditions and one special condition as discussed, which is him having to show the deed. Cause that'll be an added condition, cause otherwise it would be the boilerplate conditions, correct?
Yeah, I just wanna look
Unless
at
we
the
decide anything
conditions, in case I,
Yeah, and, you know, there's so many of those standard conditions, and many that probably wouldn't even apply in this particular case.
what if I say with conditions to follow?
Yeah, well, like I said, to be determined.
Yeah, to be determined, I'm good with
Okay.
that.
Second.
Aye. Second.
Okay.
Anything further? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay.
I'm leaving the Mylar wrapped in these.
Can we have one of those doing for our files?
We have all of these. I'm leaving them all for you.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just wrapping the Mylar up so that it's protected in the group. And the only one
And then the only other
we
thing.
care about, because this is the one that gets recorded,
Yeah.
so that's gotta go through the process.
That Mylar has to go to Anita.
This has to go to Anita and sit in her office for 20 days after you guys do your part. And then we pick it up.
When you do the CAD drawings and all that for the final column as signed drawings, do you guys put our signatures on those, or how do you do that? I was
No, you sign this and I scan it.
Okay,
That's it. It's original. We bring this plan to the registry of deeds, they record it.
yep.
And that automatically goes, anyone can get it. And then,
The only thing I was gonna ask is after we sign this, I like Tamika's point, can we get a copy of that scan to put into our file?
that's what you guys want that all the time. That's the whole.
I don't remember if it's ever happened, see, that's the problem with guy, cause I never asked Dave
Well,
that
it used to
question.
be, which changed, and I don't know why, but it has. You used to sign every single
Yeah.
plan. So now that's what we're building and that's what we agreed on. And
All I gotta do
you
is sign the
guys
front
might
page.
still do that. This
I
town,
don't remember sitting here with 15 pages.
right. So you will do that on this, but they don't get recorded. We used to record every sheet.
Yeah.
And then it's like $8,000 in recording for
Oh, we
cross
just have to
sections.
record the first sheet.
The
and
first
that-
sheet is the.
And that
plan of
references the
land.
entire plan.
And it'd be good to have that, this are the plans that you guys all agreed on, and
Okay.
then I can make a scan of that. That way, 5 years from now, when we got the as-built, it's like, well, this is what we planned, not anything different, so.
Perfect.
Julian, before you go, this is gonna be the postponement of the two special
Okay,
permit hearings after this.
Okay, last thing, our two lots on Ridge Road.
Is there anything from Noble Hill and Brice Lemon, Brintnal, or Bear Hill too?
Nope, we haven't gotten into it.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on that.
I had, some residents that live on Brice Lemon, they've had some water issues.
Yeah,
Do you remember-
that came to the attention of the Concom in our office today, and we're working with DEP on that.
Okay.
So
it's
that's
not-
my,
It's not a drainage, Tamika, from around the property, it's a drainage from,
5 inches of rain in 3
yeah,
months.
yeah. So did Palmagussit, I don't think the guys did a job. It was gravel, it looked like a freaking tank trap this
Oh, that
weekend.
must be a nightmare for them guys.
Yeah.
Right to the bottom, right to the pond.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
I drove that, was
they'll get it done. This is gonna get done.
Monday night, and I'm going like, holy, they're not gonna have a fun day Tuesday morning. Anyhow, alright,
I would just need a motion to postpone to July 25th at 6:45 PM for those two permits.
Okay, motion to.
so moved.
Special permit for lot 3E. Second,
Second.
any discussion? In favor?
Aye,
Aye.
6:45,
Yes.
perfect.
And same thing for lot 2E on 52 Ridge Road.
Somebody else
Motion
do.
to postpone to whatever that was,
July
27th?
25th.
Alright, so moved.
Second.
Discussion. In favor?
Aye,
Aye.
I recuse myself.
You said aye on the first one.
Very good. On the first one, yes. But that's,
oh, 52 is too close, or? Cause it's 46 and
wait a
52.
minute, that's my fault. No, I thought we were talking
I
about,
was saying,
I thought we were talking about Forest Hill.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
my God.
You
I
recused
recuse
both.
both.
Got it.
Thank you. On that note.
You were about to get handcuffed for illegal operations, Mr. Williams.
Oh,
Said, bring in the
Thank you, guys.
land police.
Okay.
Thanks, Julian.
I can tell them there's good news tomorrow.
Tell
It's
him,
much closer.
tell him to put the for sale signs out now.
freaking ass, pain in the ass day.
Oh, well, thank you.
Aye.
Upper left, or upper right, excuse me.
Tom talked to Dave.
I just,
Oh, you mean, what you're talking about is a exit interview?
correct.
Yeah.
Oh. I have no idea.
Well, let's go over and get him.
Asking if an exit interview was conducted with Dave?
Yes,
Yes, it was.
it was.
There was.
With Austin, yep.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, we have nothing on items 5, 6, and 7, no reports, and I have not really been out to take a look at either one or any one of them.
Well, you probably don't want to go any further down Brintnal due to the water flow conditions.
Actually, Brintnal still
Oh, it looks good,
held up remarkably well.
but you look at the, underneath their bridges, do some fishing there.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
Deep
Lot of water.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of water. But it's flowing fine.
yeah.
Again, I'm gonna say nothing but those that Clee put in seem to be doing their jobs. So, I'm giving,
I'm stunned for crying out loud that nothing is washed down
Yeah.
in some places.
he'll be shocked, and I don't hear him turning over in his grave, but I think those two crossings were put in very well. And it's their engineer that, which his name escapes me, Joe knew him really well. He did a hell of a job on the design. So, just kudos is all I want to put out.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's it.
And I do hope that we have some information at our next meeting about a town planner, because I still feel that we should be training ourselves again by going through our subdivision rules and regulations and updating them.
I can't argue that.
And heaven only knows what's gonna happen in the future, because, like I say, I have a gut feeling that they wanna cram more houses than you can ever shake a stick at.
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And the next thing is, as a matter of fact, there's a rural caucus meeting coming up. And I was thinking about getting on there, cause I think I might go over the end, because they brought a person in about the state trying to go to private wells to talk about, you know, testing and things like that. And we
Don't come on my property.
stay the heck away from the private. You wanna go to a community or a
Town well?
town well, fine.
Yeah.
But it's up to the individual person, not the state to come in and say, even though it's starting to get a little hairy.
Sorry.
And I really should get started on my 25 articles for the selectmen, for crying out loud, because one of them is their reservoir. I asked Mr. Viner, whereabouts in the reservoir does the spring come up? How deep is it? How wide is the opening? I don't know.
So we don't have any drawings or anything of that?
Nothing. And to me, for crying out loud, when you start getting worried about being contaminated, I wanna know where that water is. I wanna know if we can set concrete piping over it, you know, so it doesn't mix in with everything. A lot of things go through the brain. Plus also, you know, how come Worcester try to maintain a 50-foot area of no trees around there because of
Contamination from.
contamination from the leaves and things
Yep.
like that? But Rutland, every time I
Got trees growing in the middle of them.
I'm freaking real, because it's terrible. And not only that, the town blew it back when Sheila turned the town down for buying a piece of property. I told her, I says, it's
David?
coming up. They could have bought, there's a private party that owns all the way down and owns the dam.
Oh, we could have gotten that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's two, and plus, remember, WPI sent a bunch of kids in to show where the water?
Yep. They're civil engineering, they're,
Yeah. And then-
students.
And it never got recorded, and never got put anything. And did you see the drawings for those 4 houses that I got ticked off at? On the thing, it says approximate.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that,
watershed
that was
line.
up there, yeah. Behind the back of their property, it said approximate watershed
Yes.
line. I remember that.
That should be taken care of now.
What reservoir, what
Our
water?
Muskapog Reservoir, town
Okay.
reservoir.
Yeah, okay.
And, you know, we need to,
That's something
we need
Sampson,
to stay on top of it, because, you know, it's our only water supply.
Yeah, that's all we got.
And if you wanna start paying big bucks, sure, go down 600 feet and tap into but I don't know how much water's gonna be in there in the future, because they're gonna want it all in Boston.
Right.
so, is this a question? I guess I'm gonna ask another question to the board. Should we ask for a second status of a DPW director, cause don't we interact with him pretty much?
I asked last night, and no.
Okay, so that's out too. or that's one of them, okay. Cause my question is, if Chris is still doing the role, and
Yeah.
I have no objection doing the role, should we be asking that, I think it's a good idea, at least from the planning perspective, that Sampson and, I forget the second part.
Weston and Sampson.
Weston and Sampson, they can do what needs to be done, if I'm not mistaken, cause I've used them in my other career, and they can come in with civil engineers
Oh, yeah.
and hydrologists and come up with that, what you're asking for, Dick. So my thought to the town, again, it's not coming from the board, but just as an individual, wouldn't we wanna have that just for, what the heck?
Yeah,
Cause we don't have a second one, and that's what Joe was pushing for years. We
That's
gotta
right.
get a second water supply, and we don't have it, and here it is, he's gone 4 or 5 years later, and we still don't have it.
right.
It's,
And,
There are
and,
known places to tap, or are you just saying dig
no,
further?
well, they did well testing, way back, but it failed.
Yeah.
It failed bad. And, to me, the only thing in the back of my mind, I feel that we should try to have a discussion with DCR is Long Pond. Do you know Long Pond is spring fed?
no, I didn't.
Long Pond does not flow but in one direction. And that direction was set up about 1,500 years ago when we had an earthquake here and blocked it from going towards Treasure Valley.
Ah.
Anyways, that's what,
Well, that would be-
Steve Drawbridge told me a long time ago.
I didn't know that. That would be a perfect second water source, wouldn't it? If it's
It's in our
spring-fed
town,
and we own it.
no, we don't own
We
it,
don't, that's just it.
but it's the first pond of water. There are no houses to speak of around it at all. And to me, for crying out loud, it's something that if we could, bring water off of that, I don't know, hey, I got so many
It's worth
things floating
talking about.
around in the head,
Yeah,
who the heck
it's
knows what.
Yeah. But this is where we need a director to help with us.
Yes, yeah, that's not our job.
Yeah, no.
I know. But if we're gonna have houses built in this town,
Better have water for them.
better have water for them.
Yeah.
And then if we don't have public water, that means private wells, and you start putting all these houses tight together and you start sucking up all the water that's in the ground right there, there's gonna be a lot of dry wells.
Yes.
I suppose, but I don't know.
I've seen and heard people talk about how their water has changed,
Oh, yeah.
so.
I'm lucky. I got the spring from that pond on the other side of Sassawana that feeds a aquifer underneath all the way to Frosty's house.
Wow.
So I've got a shallow well. I think it's only like 60 or 80 feet down, and we hit a little aquifer down there. So
Beautiful.
I'm lucky,
Yes.
and I've tested it for those no good furry snapping turtles out back. Furry snapping turtles that are legal to hunt 24/7. And I don't have the bacterial. I forget the name of it. The
Yeah.
bacterial. I had him test for that and nothing. So I'm lucky.
That's good.
So yep. Anyhow, motion to adjourn.
I had to get out 600 feet.
600, well, that was when I was looking at Michelonis's property, Norm, that was a 490-foot,
Wow.
and when we were looking at, again, this is 99, so it's a little ways back. 15 minutes into the well test, no more water. And the guy's out there going, well, you could always hydrofrac this, and so being an engineer, first thing I did is went home and started doing this, and I'm like, no way. I'm throwing dynamite in a hole to open up rocks. Not happening. And then I hope water flows into it, and then I might have to do it again. I'm like, yeah, honey, we're looking for a different house. So, yes.
All right, you started to say something?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are-
We're off, Pete.
7:40.